a beautiful introduction. Thank you, Heather. Thank you for all of you for being here tonight. Special thanks to the host committee, Christine and Heather, for doing so much of the heavy lifting. And I want to try to get the host committee by name: Trevor, Anna, Valerie, Peter. Who am I missing? I miss my sister Amy, who's not here tonight. She's in California. I hope I didn't miss anyone, because you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for making sure that tonight was a success. I really appreciate it. I have been giving a version of this speech over the last 2 months, almost exclusively to rooms full of people that I have never met before. And I can't tell you all how refreshing and how meaningful it feels to be able to say these words to my family and friends and the people I love most in the world. I'm Rebekah Cummings. I'm an educator, I'm a library advocate, I'm a mother of 3, and I'm running for lieutenant governor alongside Brian. Thanks, guys. That felt really good. I'm a big believer that who someone is and what they do before they run for political office speaks volumes about what they're going to do when they get to political office. I'm a librarian. I have worked in public and academic libraries for the past 15 years, and I absolutely love it. It's great, truly. Everyone should do it. Nobody ever thinks about it as a kid. Working in libraries, it really teaches you so much about people, what they care about, what they're learning, what they aspire to, what challenges they're facing, what keeps them up at night. And there are very few professions that allow you to work with that broad cross-section of society: young, old, rich, poor, people across the political spectrum. I used to love when I worked at the public library that I could start my day helping our littlest patrons, helping our toddlers bond with their caregivers at story time over books and music and literacy. And in that same day, I could work with our elderly patrons, helping them learn how to use technology, helping them find the community and the connection that they needed. Libraries are really special places. In my current job at the U, I teach information literacy, I oversee student research, and I do my own research on misinformation and on the social and ethical implications of different technologies like artificial intelligence. It's really exciting, and I love my work. As a librarian, I have had a chance to work with students and veterans and small business owners and LGBTQ youth and unsheltered populations and new Americans. My only job as a librarian is to listen to people and to help them be successful at whatever thing it is that they care about. That is the experience I'm going to bring into this position. So, if I love my job so much, which I do, why am I doing this? Why am I leaving the safety and familiarity of my library to run for public office, which is admittedly quite terrifying? For one thing, I probably wouldn't have said yes if many people had asked me besides Brian King, who I know and I trust. I have been Brian's constituent for the past 11 years, and I have consistently been impressed with the way he reaches across the aisle, the way he passes bipartisan legislation around everything from expanding access to full-day kindergarten, to expanding access to mental health resources, to even in Utah, managing to pass common sense gun regulation. Brian is an amazing person, and he's going to be an incredible governor for the state of Utah. I can speak on behalf of all of us when I just say thank you for running. And then the other reason I said yes, which Brian already alluded to, is because over the past few years, politics has found the library. And I'm not sure to what extent you all keep up with this, but we have seen an unprecedented level of book banning and censorship over the past few years. And Utah is currently ranked 4th in the country in books being pulled off of library shelves. Since 2022, we have seen a slew of proposed legislation in this state that criminalizes librarianship, that redefines obscenity, that would require librarians to put arbitrary rating systems on our books, that would require parents to opt in for sensitive reading materials for their teens, and that outlaws the teaching of divisive concepts. All while the vast majority of Utahns oppose book banning, trust their librarians and teachers, and are tired of their elected officials spending time on bills and issues that don't actually make their lives any better. So over the past 7 years, I have served first as president and then as advocacy co-chair of the Utah Library Association, working with our elected officials on library funding and library issues, working with our elected officials to try and make some of these bad library bills a little bit better, or to stop them altogether. In 2022, along with some other great people in this room, we co-founded the Let Utah Read Coalition, which now has a database of several thousand Utahns that we can activate to show up at public school board meetings or to show up at the state legislature to speak in support of education and books and the freedom to read. And then in the last legislative session, I worked with Brian King on HB 583, Student Access to Books, that if it had passed would have done something so simple. It would have ensured that books had to be read and evaluated in their entirety before being pulled from library collections. Something that just sounds so simple, right? But that's not something that we have in Utah right now. So I will be honest with you guys about something. I have read a lot of books in my life, like a lot of books. Reading is a core part of who I am. I avoided people the first 20 years of my life just in favor of reading books. And I don't think there's a single book in my public library that offends me. I don't think there's a single book in my kids' elementary school library that would offend me either. What I find offensive in the library is that working parents have to drop their kids off for 8 hours a day in the summertime because of a lack of affordable childcare options. I am not the least bit offended by Judy Blume or Toni Morrison or Sherman Alexie. What I find offensive is when my friend with stage 4 cancer has to start a GoFundMe to pay for life-saving, necessary medical treatment. I am offended that 10% of kids in Utah go to bed hungry at night. I am not offended by any work of fiction that reflects the hard realities that a lot of us face in life. I am deeply offended by the growing gap between the magnitude of our problems and the smallness of our politics. I love this room so much. So my concern for good governance and protecting civil liberties extends so far beyond books. Like Brian, I will promote public good over personal interests, results over rhetoric, common sense over culture war issues and corporate greed. If I learned anything from the book ban fight, it's that Utahns are tired of partisan political games and that they want their elected officials to spend time on issues that genuinely make their lives better, like expanding access to healthcare, fully funded public education, affordable housing, and getting water to the Great Salt Lake. Which is totally lovely from here. So my top priority as Lieutenant Governor would be working alongside Brian to promote common sense, good governance as a check on the inevitable extremism that comes from single party control, which is exactly what we have in the legislature right now. And as Lieutenant Governor, who would be overseeing our state's election system, protecting our vote by mail system, and making sure that it stays secure, accessible, and easy to use. Thank you so much, everyone, again for being here. This has been like the warmest, most wonderful audience I think I've ever had. And now, it's my time to do the hard thing, to ask for money. I hate this. It's the part of being a candidate I'm still getting used to. But honestly, you all know that running as a Democrat in Utah is an uphill battle. But we really have an opportunity this year that I don't think we've had probably in 40 years since Scott Matheson won. We have a deeply divided Republican Party, and we have a unified Democratic Party and a wonderful top-of ticket that not only is going to bring a lot of disaffected Republicans, a lot of independents into the mix, but it's going to help our down-ballot candidates as well. So please, you guys know if we want better politics in Utah, we need to elect better politicians, and Brian King is that politician that we need in Utah right now. That is all I have for you. I'm going to turn the time over just the last minute to my dear, dear friend Christine, whose house this is, and it's up to you.